The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right, today we're going to go on and take a look at objective 2C.2. We're still going to deal with converting units, only today we're going to look at the metric system as opposed to the American system. And then tomorrow we'll look at converting back and forth between the metric system and the American system. All right. So in the metric system, units of length are, come on, doesn't want to, try to get it to work. Here we go. I guess we're going to do it in red. Meters. Let me change the color. All right, anyway, units of meters. So in the American system, we have inches, feet, yards, miles, then some obscure things like furlongs, chains, but typically we use what? Inches, feet, yards, and miles. In the metric system, everything is based around a unit of a meter, which is a little bit more than 1 yard. It's about 39 inches or so. But we have meters, but then we have prefixes, which are things that go in front of the root word. So let's see, going to the right, we have decimeters. We have centimeters and millimeters. The abbreviations for deci, centa, and milli are D, C, and M. The abbreviation for meters is M. Going to the left, we have decameter, hectometer, and kilometer. The abbreviation is K, H, and D, A. Now, decimeters, decameters, because they both start with a D, the abbreviation for decameters is DA as opposed to just D. Also, you might think, well, what about millimeters and meters both start with an M? This is true, except you would never have just milli. It would be milli something. Millimeters, which would be MM, milligrams, and milliliters, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So if it's just M, it's got to be meters. Also, I want to point out, I just discovered this morning. I'd never seen this before. So decameter can also be spelled this way. In fact, this is the way I'm used to it. So I have to get used to this using a C instead of a K, but I looked it up and both of them apparently are acceptable. But in either case, the abbreviation is DA as opposed to just D. All right, now, having said all of that, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. 10 centimeters is 1 decimeter. 10 decimeters is 1 meter. 1 meter is, 10 meters is 1 decameter. 10 decameters is 1 hectometer. 10 hectometers is 1 kilometer or kilometer. So in the metric system, everything is tens. All right. Now, along with units of meters, we have units of weight or mass, which are grams. So you can have kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, grams, decigrams, centigrams, and milligrams. Units of volume or capacity. Wait, let me back up. So units of grams, weight. In the American system, we have what? Ounces, pounds, tons. So in the metric system, they have grams, and then you've got kilograms, hectograms, decigrams, decagrams, all of that stuff, okay? Capacity or volume. In the American system, we have teaspoons, tablespoons, cups, pints, quarts, gallons. In the metric system, it's liters. So you've got kiloliters, hectoliters, deciliters, liters, deciliters, centiliters, milliliters, etc. There's even some beyond that on both sides, but we're going to focus on just those pieces. So liters are measures of volume or capacity. Grams are measure of weight or mass, and meters are measure of distance or length. All right, now looking over on the left side under question 1, it has length definitions. It has the abbreviations for everything there, and then it has conversions. Notice that everything is written in terms of meters. You've got kilometers to meters, hectometers to meters, decameters to meters, meters to decimeters, meters to centimeters, meters to millimeters, okay? Down here where we've got liters, same thing, everything is compared to liters, and then grams, everything is compared to grams. That brings about the following situation. Let's talk about the post office for a moment and what happens when you mail a letter. Let's say that I'm having a party and I want to invite my next door neighbor, okay? Now, I could just yell over the fence, hey neighbor, you know, or I could send them an email or a text message or whatever. But if I'm going to use the postal system, if I put a letter out in my mailbox, the postman picks it up and doesn't take it and just deliver it next door. It goes from my house to the post office, and then from the post office to the neighbor's house, which may seem inefficient in the example of going to the neighbor's, but it works in terms of mailing a letter anywhere. So it goes from where you are to the post office, from the post office to where it's needed to be delivered, okay? And there might be some things in between, but for my example, we'll go with this. Now, in the metric system, the conversions that we have are based on the main unit, meter, gram, and liter. So what we're going to do to convert from one thing to another, typically there's going to be 2 moves. We're going to go from where we are to the main unit, and then from the main unit to where we want to go, just like the post office. Let me give you an example. Again, I'm going to do problems similar to the questions that are in your homework assignment, but I'm not going to use the same numbers, okay? So let's take a problem, and let's say we're going to convert 72 dm to centimeters. And it says using conversion factors. Now, dm is what? Decimeters. And then centimeters. So I'm going to go from decimeters to meters, and from meters to centimeters. So just like on Friday, I'm going to create a roadmap to follow so I can keep my wits about me. All right. So we're going to start with 72 decimeters. We're going to go from decimeters to meters and meters to centimeters. So I've got my units so they line up. So what is the relationship between decimeters and meters? Let's see. 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. So 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. Any questions about that? All right. And then I'm going to go from meters to centimeters. So 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Again, any questions about that? Now, on Friday, I got rid of some zeros and crossed them out, and then I forgot that I crossed them out and messed up everything. So I don't know. Let's see if I can do a better job today. Okay. So what can I get rid of? Well, decimeters reduces out, meters reduces out, and I have centimeters. I could reduce the top and the bottom by 10. So that would change 100 into 10 and 10 into 1. So now I have 72 times 10 centimeters. 72 times 10 is going to be what? 720? So we're going to have 720 centimeters. Any questions about this problem? Now, yes, I could have taken 72 times 100 over 10, punched it all into my calculator and come up with the answer as well. But we're just dealing with tens. Dealing with tens, we're just moving the decimal point. Multiplying by 10, it gets 10 larger. You move the decimal point to the right. Dividing by 10, it gets 10 smaller, a factor of 10. So you move the decimal point to the left. Anyway, let's go on and take a look at another example. So we're going to do something like question 2. It says convert 58.9 deciliters. How about if we take 63.7? Let's see. Deciliters to, okay, convert. I'm still getting used to the fact that deciliters is DEC instead of DEK. All right, deciliters to deciliters. Deciliters. You know what? I'm going to start that over. All right. Convert. Let's see. What did I have? 63.7. Okay. 63.7 deciliters to deciliters. Okay. So from deciliters, I'm going to go to liters. And from liters, I'm going to go to deciliters. Okay, so from deciliters to the main unit, which is liters, from liters to where we want to go, which is deciliters. Okay, 63.7 deciliters. Then I'm going to go from deciliters to liters and liters to deciliters. Don't get deciliters and deciliters mixed up. Right, so let's see. Deciliters to liters, it says 1 deciliter is 10 liters. 1 deciliter is 10 liters. And then liters to deciliters, 1 liter is 10 deciliters. Okay, so I can get rid of units of deciliters and liters, and I have deciliters. 63.7 times 10 would be 637, times 10 would be 6370. Everybody okay with how I got there? So I'm going to have 6,370 deciliters. And again, make sure you use the correct abbreviation or write out the entire name. Again, in WAMAP, it looks like, for instance, these problems, it has the units. But in case it doesn't, just make sure you've got the correct units. Right, any questions about that one? All right, let's do something with weight or mass. So let's see here. We're going to convert, how about 0.531 kilograms to grams. So I've got, let's see, I'm going to go from kilograms to grams. In this case, we're just mailing a letter to the post office, aren't we? It's just going to grams. That's all the further we're going to go. So I've got 0.531 kilograms. And then here I'm going to have kilograms and grams. And let's see, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So kilograms crosses out, 0.531 multiplied by 1,000. We've got what, 3 zeros in 1,000. We move over 3 decimal places. So 531 grams. Okay. Also, Notice there's something that wasn't in either of these other two, and that is it says 1 ton. So that's a metric ton is 1,000 kilograms. Metric ton. Interesting spelling there, T-O-N-N-E. All right, any question about these examples? Okay, let's look at a few more, and then we'll get into some that are a little more complicated. Let's see, let's start here. And let's look at something like question 10. And let's see, we're going to convert, how about 86.34 meters to hectometers. One of the nice things about the metric system, so let's go back to Friday stuff. I sat down ahead of time and worked out different problems I wanted to do. With the metric system, I can pick any decimal number I want, and converting it is going to be easy because it's just going to be moving the decimal point. So that's a nice advantage. So we're going to go from meters to hectometers. Well, now we're starting at the post office and going to hectometers. So this is like getting a letter from the post office. You ever gotten a letter from the post office asking you if you wanted to buy stamps around Christmas time? I've always wondered, did they have to put a stamp on that letter? Anyway, okay. So we're going to go from, let's see, 86.34 meters, from meters to hectometers. And let's see, 1 hectometer is 100 meters. 1 hectometer is 100 meters. So now units of meters cross out, and I've got hectometers, but I'm dividing by 100. So 86.34 divided by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So we get 0.8634 hectometers. Multiplying by 10, you get larger, move it to the right. Dividing by 10, get smaller to the left. So dividing by 100, that's 10 times 10. Okay, questions there? All right, let's take a look at problem 11, or one similar rather. Okay, convert, how about 17.5 kiloliters to deciliters. Okay, so I'm going to go from kiloliters to liters and liters to deciliters. All right, 17.5 kiloliters, kiloliters to liters, liters to deciliters. Let's see, 1 kiloliter is 1,000 liters. And then liters to deciliters, 1 liter is 10 deciliters. All right, so kiloliters cross out, liters cross out, and I have deciliters. 17.5 times 1,000 would move it over 1, 2, 3 places. Times 10 would move it over 1 more place. So 175,000 deciliters. And again, you could use your calculator, but it would actually take longer to use your calculator than it would to just move the decimal point the correct number of places. All right. And let's take another look at a problem involving grams. So convert, let's see, 942 decigrams to milligrams. So we're going to go from decigrams to grams to milligrams. Okay. So 942 decigrams, decigrams to grams, grams to milligrams. grams and decigrams. 1 gram is 10 decigrams. 1 gram is 10 decigrams. And then milligrams and grams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So decigrams crosses out, grams cross out, we have milligrams. I can get rid of a 10 on the bottom and a 10 on the top. So now I've got 942 times 100, which is going to add 2 zeros, right? 2 zeros. So 94,200 milligrams. Any questions about that one? Okay. Let's see here. Let's talk about square units. Now, if 10, let's say, millimeters equals 1 centimeter, let's say I've got a square that is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. So that would have an area of 1 square centimeter. But it's also equal to 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters, which would be 100 square millimeters, okay? Because you're taking 10 times 10. So 100 square millimeters is 1 square centimeter. 100 square centimeters is 1 square decimeter. 100 square decimeters is 1 square meter, etc., etc. We also have a couple of other units of area. So in the American or British system, we talk about acres. In the metric system, they have something that's spelled ARES, and the abbreviation isn't A, but it's pronounced ARS. So sort of a piratey name, ARS. So it's abbreviated with an A, but it's kind of like our word are you going to the store, ARE. So an R is 100 square meters. And then a hectare is 100 Rs. Okay. And again, you don't have to have these memorized. You just need to know how to use them because they'll all be written there. Okay. So let's take a look at a question like number 18. And let's say convert, how about 43,000 square millimeters to square decimeters. Now, once we get past the just regular units and we start looking at square units and cubic units, instead of using sort of the post office system where we go to the main unit and then away, we just kind of go from one to the next thing here, okay? So I'm going to go from square millimeters to square centimeters to square decimeters. And how do I know that? These are written in order from smallest to largest. So I go from square millimeters to centimeter to square centimeters, square centimeters to square decimeters, square decimeters to square meters, etc. Okay, just remember that the kilo is big and the milli is small. All right, so 43,000 square millimeters. I'm going to go from square millimeters to square centimeters to square decimeters. So how about, let's see, square millimeters and square centimeters. 1 square centimeter is 100 square millimeters. 1 square centimeter is 100 square millimeters. Okay, and then let's see here. 1 square decimeter is 100 square centimeters. Okay, so these units cross out, these units cross out. I've got that. I could get rid of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So basically I've got what, 43 divided by 10. 43 divided by 10 is going to be 4.3, right? Because dividing by 10, you'd move the decimal point 1 place to the left, making it smaller by a factor of 10. All right. Any questions about that example? Okay. Let's take a look at cubic. So if we're dealing with cubic units, let's see if I can draw a cube here. Maybe, maybe not. I was doing so well. And then let's see, we've got back here. Let's say that it's 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. So that would be 1 cubic centimeter. But that would be 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000 cubic millimeters. So with just regular units, it's tens. With squared units, it's hundreds, and with cubic units, it's thousands. Okay. So let's take a look at number 20, or again, something similar. And let's see, let's convert. How about 750,000 cubic millimeters to cubic decimeters? Okay, so we're going to go from cubic millimeters to, let's see, from millimeters, we're going to go to centimeters. So we're going to go to cubic centimeters and a cubic decimeters. Okay, so again, we don't go to the main unit, we just go right up the different units. So I've got 750,000 cubic millimeters to cubic centimeters to cubic decimeters. And let's see, 1 cubic centimeter is 1,000 cubic millimeters. So 1 over 1,000. And then 1 cubic decimeter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. So 1 over 1,000. We'll get rid of the units here. We've got that. Let's see. I could get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros on top. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros on the bottom. I've got 75 over 100. That's going to move it 2 places to the left. So I've got 0.75 cubic decimeters. Any questions about that? All right, let's look at some application problems. And let's see, that's starting with 22. Again, I'm going to do a similar problem, but I'm going to use different numbers. Okay. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to do this a similar problem, but we're going to have 400 tablets weighing 220 milligrams each. And we want total weight in kilograms. Okay, so a bottle of pain reliever contains, we're going to say 400 tablets weighing 220 milligrams each. Find the total weight in kilograms. Yeah, find total weight in kilograms. All right, so there's 2 things I need to do. I need to multiply and convert. And I could do it in either order. I could take 400 times 220 milligrams and get a certain number of milligrams and then convert those into kilograms. Or I could take the weight of one tablet, which is 220 milligrams, convert it into kilograms, and then multiply by the 400 tablets. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to get the weight in milligrams and then convert at the end. So I've got 220 milligrams times 400. 1, 2, 3, 8, 8. So that's 88,000 milligrams. So the total weight of the 400 tablets is 88,000 milligrams. Now let's convert milligrams into kilograms. So I'm going to go from milligrams to grams to kilograms. Okay. So 88,000 milligrams, grams, kilograms. And let's see, what does it say? Milligrams, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. And then grams to kilograms, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So units of milligrams and grams go away, and I have kilograms. Okay. I can get rid of 1, 2, 3 zeros on top, 1, 2, 3 zeros on the bottom. So now I've got 88 over 1,000 kilograms. But dividing by 1,000, we'd move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the left, 0.088 kilograms. Any questions about that? Excuse me. It's Monday runny nose. All right. Any questions about that problem? Okay, let's take a look at one like number 23. Let's see here. This is like, so we're going to say, in this case, a box containing, I'm going to use 34 graham crackers, weighs 0.459 kilograms. How many grams does 1 graham cracker weigh? How many grams does 1 graham cracker weigh? Right, so again, I'm using different numbers from the one you're going to be doing. So now instead of multiplying, we have to divide. We're going to take the total weight and divide it by 34, but we need to convert it into grams. So we can either convert kilograms into grams first and then divide, or we can divide first and convert kilograms into grams. I'm going to divide first. So let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 0.459 divided by 34. And I'm going to use my calculator for this. Let's see. 0.459 divided by 34. And I get 0.0135. And this is what? Kilograms. So that's the weight of 1 graham cracker in kilograms. Now, let's convert kilograms to grams. That's just going to the post office, right? So 0.0135 kilograms to grams. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So multiplying by 1,000, we go 1, 2, 3 places to the right, so 13.5 grams. So 1 graham cracker weighs 13.5 grams. My mother-in-law's maiden name was Graham, so we could have had a graham cracker that weighs a gram that belongs to a gram. I know that's pretty bad. But then what would you expect from me on a Monday morning anyway? All right, any questions about that one? Okay, let's go to another example. Let's see here. So let's see, for that one, we're going to turn the page and take a look at 5. Okay, this says a can of diced tomatoes contains 290 milligrams of sodium. We're going to use 380 milligrams of sodium. How many grams of sodium is this? So we're going to go from milligrams to grams. Okay, 380 milligrams. And there are what, 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. Okay, so I'll get rid of a 0. I've got what, 38 over 100 grams dividing, let's see, taking 38 divided by 100, we get 0.38 grams. I don't know if it's true, but I'm told that in countries that use the metric system, everything is decimals. They never use fractions. Again, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've been told. All right, any questions about that one? Let's see here. Looks like that one. Looks like that one. Let's take a look at this one. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at one that's like 27. And that's going to be. So a bottle of nasal spray has a net fill weight. That's what it says on the bottle. So that's how much the weight of the spray is inside. Only, let's see. What is this? 27. We're going to say that it has a net fill weight of 5.1 grams. And if the bottle contains, we'll say 40 sprays, how much, what is the weight? So what is the weight of 1 spray in milligrams? So you're talking about the weight of a spray out of a bottle. That should give you an idea of just how little weight 1 milligram is. All right. So we've got a total of 5.1 grams of liquid in this bottle. It contains 40 sprays. We want to know the weight of 1 spray in milligrams. So the first thing we've got to do is divide by 40 to get just 1 spray. So 5.1 divided by 40 is 0.1275, and that's grams. But then we're going to convert grams into milligrams, and that's just a 1-step process. And let's see, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. Okay, so grams go away and we have milligrams. Multiplying by 1,000 would move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places. So 127.5 milligrams. There you have it. All right, so pay attention to the units. Make sure that when you're reading your equations up here, your equal signs, that you're going to turn into a unit conversion factor, that you've got the correct things. Don't get decagrams and decigrams mixed up. Be careful with that. Any questions before we go? All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording.